Hey guys, welcome back to Rossoneri TV. I'm here for the match preview of Crotone against AC Milan. Match that will be played on April 30th at 3 p.m. Italian time in Crotone for round 34 of the Serie A. 5 games remaining, the most 5 crucial games of the season. That's pretty much what it is. 5 finals. I know I've said this before when there were 10 games left, but now this is really do or die for any team in the Serie A. Of course, Milan and Crotone both playing for different reasons, both competing for different reasons. Milan still in the hope of reaching the Europa League next season, while Crotone is still battling relegation. And even though it's very unlikely that they can get out of this sticky situation at the moment, they have been doing really well in the recent 4 games, winning 3 out of the 4, and simply saying here that they're putting pressure on Empoli to try to surpass them and gain salvation for next season's Serie A. But speaking about Milan, of course, last week we suffered a very disappointing defeat to the hands of Empoli at the San Siro. Very disappointing result. You guys pretty much all heard my rant on that game last week. I was not pleased with the display. This is not the way, like I said many times, to go into these matches, especially nearing the end of the Serie A season. And the attitude, the behavior, everything needs to change for Milan. Like I said, it needs to be 5 finals for Milan now. It cannot be just any other game. Even against teams like Crotone, we must go there with all our might to win these games. And speaking about bottom of the table teams, in the second half of the season, we haven't done particularly good against them. I mean, Pescara, we drew to them 1-1, I believe. We lost to Empoli. Palermo, we were able to defeat very comfortably. But other than that, we always seem to struggle against these teams. And this cannot be a repeat of last week against Crotone tomorrow. Things need to change. Things need to be different in general if we want to win this game. And like I said, Crotone might be in the relegation zone, but in their past 4 games, they've been doing very well, getting lots of wins, surprising some teams as well. They beat Sampdoria last week, actually, in Genova. So, never an easy ground there. They were able to go there and get a win. They also beat Inter a few weeks ago. You guys probably recall that when we were all cheering on the live stream. But that's just to say, any team in the Serie A is capable of pulling out results. We all know that by now. And Crotone is no different. They don't have many great players, but they're still a team that competes. And, they have extra motivation right now because Empoli was capable of beating us last week. Why can't Crotone do the same? That's what they're thinking at the moment. And they do know if they want to fight with Empoli for that last salvation spot, they're going to have to win against Milan. There's no other choice. So it's going to be a very interesting match, like I said, for different reasons. Both teams playing for different reasons, different motives. And that's what I think will make it very intriguing, a very interesting match altogether. But let's take a look now at the probable starting 11 for Milan, because there will be some changes in respect to what we saw last week, with players out due to suspension, injury, and so forth. So let's take a look at it. For the probable starting 11 here, we got Donnarumma in net, Calabria, Zapata, Paletta, and Vangioni there in the back 4. Kuchka, Locatelli, Matti Fernandez in the midfield, Suso, Lapadula, and Deulofeu up front. So speaking about the defense, first of all, of course, Calabria will be most likely the player that we will be seeing from now on until the rest of the season on right-hand flank due to Abate's eye injury. Zapata and Paletta once again reconfirmed as a center-back pairing. Romagnoli is still out. You guys might recall last week he did not play because he had a knock to his knee. And it seems that he hasn't still recovered, and therefore he hasn't even made the trip to Crotone for tomorrow's match. Paletta and Zapata are more than likely to start, and Vangioni will be playing on the left side, replacing De Sciglio. Of course, De Sciglio suspended for this match, and there's really been a lot of talks regarding De Sciglio this week with his agent, the possibility of him moving elsewhere this summer. And I know I haven't been able to make any news videos this week. I know I promised you guys that I would, but I really was just taking some days off after finally finishing my degree, and I just wanted a few days to relax. But next week, I promise I will be making some more videos regarding these issues. In the midfield, Kuchka, Locatelli, and Fernandez. So Kuchka will finally be playing again. Pasalic, we saw him last week instead there on the right side. Locatelli replacing Jose Sosa this week, mainly due to the suspension of Jose Sosa. So Locatelli will be getting a chance once again to showcase his talent. Matty Fernandez, the lone approval, pretty much exception there in that midfield, because he was the only player out of the midfielders that played last game. And up front, it seems like Montella will be going for an unchanged front trio. And that is, of course, of Suso, Lapadula, and Deulofeu. We did not see Bacca last game. I don't know if Montella is using this strategy maybe to preserve him for the final games of the season, because let's not forget that we still have to play Atalanta and Roma in those last 4 weeks. So definitely lots of great, crazy, exciting, worrying matches up ahead, whatever you want to call it. So I don't know if Montella's pretty much preserving him for that, but something's for sure, and he needs to work harder. So maybe that's the reason why Lapadula's been getting the start again. But we'll soon see if Lapadula is capable of doing or scoring some goals here, like he did against Empoli last week. Deulofeu and Suso, as usual, of course, being on the wings there. No changes in that regard. So let me know exactly what you guys think about that lineup. Do you guys think it's good enough to go ahead and beat Crotone? I know usually we're supposed to have good enough lineups to beat these teams, but it's never the case. But let me know if you would do anything different. Would you do anything different in that lineup? Would you put someone else that maybe is on the bench? Would you give them a chance against Crotone? Let me know all of that in the comments section below, as I'll be reading your comments for the next few minutes. Deschillo, Stopzel says, is going to be a star one day, and we will wish we had him. I'm sad to see him go. Deschillo, I had a big talk regarding Deschillo last week, where I said that I had mixed feelings about him. And right now, honestly, he's really disappointed me that he might be a great player. He might be a great player for another team, but at the moment, Milan cannot afford to depend on players that don't give them certainties. And that's pretty much my point. It's not only Deschillo. There's a lot of players out there like him at Milan that don't give those certainties. But him, for one, he's definitely one that needed to change a long time ago. I've said it, maybe it was a process. It was a process in which he was developing as a more experienced player, but that experience really never showed for him at Milan. So, I think that personally, I wouldn't mind selling him for the right price. Sean Samuel says, congrats, Gio. Thank you so much, man, for the congratulations. The Crotone do his trip to Crotone. Yes, he did. Mel Psych 82 says, I am an AC Milan supporter, but I hope tomorrow they will lose. I'm pretty fed up with this coach and players. Honestly, man, you should change your attitude, because being a Milan supporter and wishing them to lose, you're not a real fan for sure. Jeffrey says, hopefully this team will fire us to a big win. I definitely hope as well. Calvin says, just joined now, Gio. Why is Romagnoli not playing lately? Thank you for joining us, Calvin. Well, first of all, like I said, last week he wasn't there because he had picked up a knock to his knee, and therefore, the team staff didn't want to really risk him, and it seems to be that he hasn't fully recovered from that knee problem just yet, and for this reason, he hasn't been playing. Liban says, I hope Milan can win for my birthday weekend. Well, happy birthday to you, Liban. I hope you have a very good birthday weekend, of course. Giuliano says, Gio, do you think Milan can sign Kessie? We'll be speaking about that later on next week. But I did read the news. I think that we could definitely sign him. There's very good, talks, very good communications at the moment that Kessie might become the first signing of the new owners. So I'll be very excited if that's true. Very interesting player, very strong, and I think he definitely deserves to make the move, to a bigger club. So I would definitely welcome him with open arms if he becomes a Milan player. That's for sure. Milan Fever says Crotone should be given a chance. He should, but like we saw against Palermo, even when it was 4-0, Montella decided to put Antonelli instead of Crotone. To me, I don't know what that really means, but it's simply, I think that Crotone is just getting that experience at the moment from more of a visual view than actually playing. So maybe he's more being asked to like sit down and visualize exactly what's going on rather than playing. That could be what Montella has in store for Crotone. But I would definitely like to see him play. Definitely, I would like to, for him to get a chance, but very unlikely. Ibrahim says, did you think Lapadula will be the first striker in the next season? I definitely don't think so. We need someone that is a champion. I'm not saying that Lapadula is not a champion. He's a very good player, but we need someone with experience, perseverance, a player that is known at a global level, a guy that could definitely fire your team to victories all the time. And we need a better player, especially if we go in Europe. Sean Samuel says, I think the team is solid enough to beat Crotone. I would only just switch Pasalic and Fernandez. Pasalic is defensively solid, and he can carry the ball and score goals when it counts. Yeah, I like Pasalic in that regard. Definitely agree with that. Matty Fernandez, though, he hasn't been playing too bad. He's been doing a lot of the dirty work in the midfield. I know offensively he doesn't really contribute as well as Pasalic, but, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing him, especially against Crotone, where he shouldn't have much problems. But Pasalic, I do agree. I very much like, his offensive contribution. He could definitely do very well. So, we'll see. Kyle says we can still manage to get into the Europa League as 6th place in Serie A as long as Lazio stays in the top 5, since both they and Juve are in the Coppa Italia finals. This is true. This is true. I get this question asked every video, and yes, it's true. And pretty much, I could tell you that Lazio will be qualifying directly to the Europa League. I don't see them really dropping out of those European League spots. Joe, do you think that this win would or could guarantee us the 6th place? Will definitely help, that's for sure, because Inter's playing Napoli this weekend, and there's also some very other interesting games. We saw Atalanta and Juventus yesterday. That game ended 2-2. Atalanta with a last-minute goal against Juventus. So yeah, Inter's playing Napoli and Lazio's playing Roma. So this is definitely the best scenario of a weekend that Milan could have, because Lazio and Inter, one of the two is probably going to be dropping points tomorrow. And Milan need to take advantage of that. If they don't take the 3 points here, that could definitely hurt them very much. Because like I said, we come to the point of the season where there's 5 games remaining. It's not like we have 15 games remaining that we could even afford a little slip. Milan has been slipping a lot more in the second half of the season, that's for sure. Like I said before, we tied against Pescara, we lost against Empoli. These are games that we needed to win, and it didn't happen. And now, especially now that there's only 5 games remaining, you cannot afford any more slip-ups, especially against teams like Crotone, with all due respect to them. I could understand if we drop points against Roma, very solid team, but against Crotone, 5 games remaining, you cannot do that. You cannot do that if you're fighting for the Europa League. It's simply unacceptable. You cannot just afford to drop points like that. Sean Samuel says, also, Calabria is the best crosser of the ball on the entire team. He brings a different dimension to our style of play. I'm very happy with him. Very much so myself. I'm very much happy with Calabria as well. He's capable of crossing the ball, one of the best crossers, like you mentioned, and I think he gives a whole different contribution to the attacking style that Abate really wasn't giving. I didn't get the same vibes with Abate than the ones that I have with Calabria. A lot of questions are coming in regarding the transfer market, and I know, like I said before, I wasn't capable of making a video this week regarding news, rumors, and so forth. But rest assured, I will be discussing all your questions regarding signings, potential signings next week. Okay. In terms of predictions, Jamie Muscat says it's going to be a 3-0 win for Milan. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think Milan will win comfortably? Let me know scorelines, goal scorers, all of that in the comment section. Aniket says, Gio, how do you think Milan will play with a better attitude against Crotone? The environment would be hostile from the home fans. Definitely, it's going to be a very interesting environment because let's not forget, like I said, Crotone, it's 4 games in a row that they don't lose. The home crowd is definitely going to be pushing their team to, play very well and hopefully gain salvation in these last 5 games. It's going to be a difficult match, in my opinion, for Milan. It's not going to be very straightforward, especially when we play away to these teams in smaller stadiums where, the crowd is really on top of you. Because these smaller stadiums, you can definitely hear much more of what's going on from the crowd. Yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult environment to play in tomorrow, and I'm expecting a difficult match. Even though Milan should be capable of winning, Crotone is not a walkover team like we saw in the first encounter this season at the San Siro when we played them. We won 2-1 with a late goal from Lapadula, and it wasn't very easy. It wasn't very easy to pick up the 3 points at all. So I'm expecting the same situation tomorrow. Afis says, I would appreciate Montolivo returning to the team, not because he is fantastic, but because the squad may benefit from a positive morale boost. Well, Montolivo is back in the team. If you haven't heard, last week he earned his first call-up after his injury. And yeah, he's back in the team. He's probably not going to be playing anytime soon, or I don't know if he's going to be making an appearance in these last 5 games, but he's back in the team, and I very much agree there with the morale boost, I've been speaking about the situation of the captain for a very long time. We've seen Abate, Discillo, both being handed the captain band to them, but personally speaking, I think that Montolivo, I know a lot of criticism has been going into him, and I'm the first one to really criticize him, but I definitely agree with you. We need the leader. We need leaders, especially in this time of the season. We need guys that will push their team to do better, and hopefully Montolivo will be bringing in those vibes to the rest of the team. Personally, like I said, I wish we could have hired Gattuso, a guy that will be in the locker room 24/7, just pressing and pressing and pressing on these players to do well, motivating them day in and day out. But that's not the case at the moment. But I think it will be very beneficial, even though Gattuso won't have a direct impact on the team. Imagine having a guy with his presence in the locker room every game. Man, that would be just insane. Lots of predictions coming from you guys. 1-0 win, goal from Zapata, says Ed. 2-0, says Aniket. Sean says, Joe, who's your captain for next season? I say Bonaventura. Bonaventura will be a great candidate, in my opinion, for a captain. Hopefully that will be the case. Bush says, Milan 1-0, but it will be a dirty, disgusting match. I could definitely see that happening against these bottom of the table teams where they need to stop you and they cannot, afford for you to make up ground on them. These are teams that make very quick, successive challenges and tackles. So I could definitely see that type of game as well tomorrow. 3-1 win, says Kyle, but our center backs need to keep Falcinelli closely marked since he's been scoring a lot lately. Yeah, Falcinelli is pretty much the real goal scorer of Crotone. If I'm not mistaken, he's got like 4 goals in the past 4 games for them. He's been really scoring a lot of goals, and yeah, we need to be careful. It's not only Falcinelli, they have other players as well, but he's definitely their main threat tomorrow. What's the probable lineup for tomorrow's game? I already spoke about it before, but I'll give you a quick recap. Donnarumma in net, Calabria, Zapata, Paletta, and Vangioni in the back 4. Kuchka, Locatelli, and Mati Fernandez in the midfield and up front. We got Suso, Lapadula, and Delufeu. that's pretty much the probable lineup. Um, Ed says, I think that Abate is the true captain and not Montolivo. Donnarumma should be captain. A lot of you guys are saying who should be captain. I think we should make a separate video to speak about that as well. And a lot of people are really saying different names. So this is a very interesting topic, which I think we could have a big discussion about this. Azam says Locatelli needs to play. He's key to that midfield. Well, he will be playing tomorrow, so you'll definitely get a chance to see him for the entire match, as Jose Sosa is suspended for it, and we will not be seeing him tomorrow. But yeah, definitely agree with what you said. Locatelli needs to be given playing time, and I think the more he plays, the more he's engaged with the rest of the players, and the more benefits he could give to the team. Still a very young player, but we've seen a lot of good things from Locatelli this season, and I'm definitely excited to see what he can bring to the table tomorrow. Yeah, so a lot of you guys talking about transfers, possible transfers. Like I said, next week I'll make a video about it. So yeah, guys, thank you for joining me for this match preview. Just a quick notice for tomorrow. Most likely there will not be a live stream watch along again. My apologies for that, but there will be a match review, that's for sure. So most likely no watch along tomorrow, but there will be a review. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Don't forget to subscribe to Rossoneri TV as usual to stay updated with everything going on at AC Milan, the best and the only AC Milan fan channel on YouTube. And don't forget to leave a like on the video. Donate if you want to the channel. Donations are always welcomed. In order to do that, just click on the super chat button. It's the $ icon if you do see it near the live comments where you type in your comments. Or you guys could also donate on Patreon, and that link is in the description box below if you guys are interested in that. Thank you guys so much once again for coming out and supporting. So see you guys tomorrow for the match review. Have yourselves a great Saturday, and hopefully it will be a better Sunday tomorrow. Take care, guys. As always, Forza Milan.